So it's not so much if, but when, and then what are you going to do about it? The plan has to adapt to emerging information. As you learn more about yourself, as you learn more about how you're responding to different training stimulus, you've got to adapt and change and move. And what I'm going to talk about next doesn't. And instead of using a top-down planning process, we'll use a bottom-up planning process. Whoa, what does that look like? And that's where I got stuck for a long time. When I finally talked to some smart people, does anyone know Dr. Anatoly Bondarchuk? There's not much emphasis on contingency situations because, hey, we have a plan, right? It requires minimal monitoring, and there's infinite variations, but there's a finite number of different models. So it simplifies our decision-making a bit because there's this model to follow, you know? What I'm talking about is kind of turning that on its head. So it's a bottom-up approach, but little feed-forward loops, you know? So instead of, we kind of know vaguely where we want to go. Like I can tell, hey, there's a competition that's forming now, and I know that that's where we're going. So we can tweak things as we go. Strategy, then your time to peak is going to be fairly stable. So I know that for me, my time to peak, if I'm doing one microcycle per week, is about 6 weeks. And I know Rory is when you're fairly certain that you've hit that peak condition, or the athlete's feeling like they're an injury risk or something like that, then it's time to stop. So use your brain. Don't hurt your, you know, you wouldn't want to push them until the point of injury. So if they're telling you like, it's probably an individual response. So, lifter and the coach. If that's not present, we don't use this method. It requires discipline in the peak. When you're getting up to those peak conditions, especially Craven, she's a favorite case study of mine pretty much all the time, so I'm going to talk about her. She was actually the first person that I used this method on. Yeah.
I'd imagine even though...
But it's a small adjustment as you go forward, but it's to keep that RPE on target. So another thing that, and I don't make any use of that, the important thing is to extract the information. So that's, I know plugging the RTS training again, but
it's a simple progression. I don't really see any downside with it. You know, what I've noticed is that you need to keep the gap so that the lifter doesn't get demoralized. Honestly, it's the same thing in a new suit or especially a deadlift suit. I've had people spend 45 minutes just trying to touch the bar. And in the equipment, and my athletes, I think, hate the fact that I'm not one of them. I'm perfectly willing to program 4 or 5 reps in some, especially and sure.
I've heard a lot of equipped lifters say that, they try to go, up to maybe 8 weeks out, and then they put their gear on, and then it's a slow process, right? They start with one piece of equipment, then they move to the next. I'm just curious what your process was prior to emerging strategies.
Things to get them used to handling heavier weight and kind of creates an easier transition. But it's it's about that pivots and everything else. The actual time could be.
It's the same process. We just have a different set of constraints. The weaknesses in the lift are different. The skills you practice are slightly different, but you're still going to be practicing them in similar ways. And you
recently or not so recently, but people like a looser chest plate and tighter arms. So then it's easier. Then we might say go up and the shirt, but then come in and we'll take the arms in, and then we'll make sure that the sleeves are the right length and that the shirt actually fits. I'm on a box because I want the foam to kind of decelerate the lifter, but I want them to get comfortable with moving quickly down. So it's kind of opposite world again, where they have to have the confidence to aggressively accelerate with more load than they've ever had on their back, especially, et cetera, et cetera. So, you just have to balance that out, and then allow the lifters to take the wins when they come. And if there are patients
bench pressing and progressing your bench press in general. And I think this is an interesting point of conversation, obviously. Then a couple others, and I'll stop talking. Well, I guess just one other, incline pin press. So it's kind of a combination of the first two. So we've got low incline and then chest level pin press, and then you can kind of combine them together and do an incline pin press.